start, and how did it start?
Well, I was supposed to be an engineer. I come from a very academic background. Both my parents are doctors, and because they're both doctors, I knew I didn't want to be one. Because, you know, when you're a doctor's child, you're like literally raised in a hospital yourself. You like go with your parents. You're at night duty with them. The nurses are your best friend. Formaldehyde is the only thing you know how to smell. It's a disaster. So I was like, I'm never going to be a doctor. And I decided, I was very academically inclined. I loved physics and math. I wanted to be an aeronautical engineer. I wanted to build planes. And when I came back from America, I went to high school in America, and I came back at the age of 16. And my mom thought, like most moms do, that my daughter's the prettiest girl in the room. And I was getting photographs taken in, you know, a small photo shop in Bareilly, just for a scholarship program for Australia where I wanted to apply. And the photographer was like, oh, you know, you're really pretty. Can I take some more pictures? And for a 16-year-old girl, you know, your vanity is peaked at that point. I was like, sure, of course. I will allow it. Soft focus pictures with my hand on my chin like that, like disaster. Anyway, those pictures were sent in by my mother to Miss India. For some reason, they picked me. I won that pageant, then I won Miss World. I was still just 18. Movie offers from Indian movies started coming my way. I didn't know what to do, but my dad and I had a chat, and my father told me that, you know, I never want you to have a what if in your life. You're 18 years old, give it a shot for a year and a half. If you're terrible, you can always go back to college. You'll know you can't act.
Right.
And if you're not, then you'll know that you found your calling.
So would you say that the first launch pad into this world was almost accidental? It's
Oh,
not
for sure, it was a fluke.
It's not something you wanted to do all your life?
No.
Do you believe in happy accidents or fate or act of God that sort of guides us into?
I believe in destiny.
You do.
I do believe that destiny and hard work go hand in hand. Destiny will make you find opportunities. It is up to you and your aptitude to recognize them. I was not born with a silver spoon. I think none of us are. And you can't replace hard work, hustle. You cannot replace, you know, wanting something bad enough and actually going after it.
But is the move from being beauty queen to an actor automatic? Does that sort of happen to everybody?
No, it doesn't. We've seen, as the Indian media loves to point out sometimes, models can't act, how many models have been actors, and beauty queens, how many beauty queens have been actors. We get thrown that all the time. But to me, I think it's a very organic process, and it's very individual. The first opportunity for your first or second film, or maybe even a third one, will come to you because you're a famous beauty queen, or you're the son and daughter of someone, or you're recommended by someone. But the audience is too intelligent today. They always have been. They know who they want to watch, and that's why it's called an X Factor.
Yes.
You don't have to be the prettiest girl in the room. You don't have to be the most talented. People just want to watch people sometimes, and that's what happened to me.
And we can see that, you know, not everyone who perhaps made that move sustained over time. I have a question that I want to get it out of the way. You've said once that you're a proud feminist.
Yes.
Is that compatible with beauty pageants?
So, what does feminism mean to you as a man?
Me?
No, I'll answer the question that way, because I really do want to. I just want to get a perspective.
I take my cue from Justin Trudeau.
Okay. That's a good person to take a cue from.
It's equality. It's coming at equality from the angle of perhaps the side that may not have had equality.
So basically, it's giving women the ability to make their own choices without being judged.
Yes.
So who decides if a beauty pageant is feminist or not? That's my decision as someone being a part of a beauty pageant. And for me, it was amazing. It gave me wings. It gave me the ability to stand on my own feet and find a career. So as a feminist, an extremely proud feminist, I'm really glad that that was a stepping stone in my own decision. So when people always have this argument about beauty pageants versus, oh my God, that has nothing to do with feminism, that's exactly what feminism stands for. Let a woman do what she wants without judging her. Stop telling her what to do. Stop telling her how to be. Let her be. Thank you.
Right. But do you get that? Is there prejudice around?
I get it all the time.
You know, I get it all the time too.
Yeah, I know. You must have been, we have our beauty pageant past and everything.
You say you're just a pretty face and no one takes me seriously. No, but prejudice, I guess, while we're on the topic, hashtag time's up. Mm-hmm. What does that mean? How would you describe what's going on, that movement? And what does it mean in particular for girls and boys growing up right now?
I think it's such an interesting time for our generation right now, with the vices and virtues of social media, like we keep discussing. I think that it has given, yes, there are good and bad, there's good and bad to everything, but what I think is amazing about social media is the empowerment that you get. So when somebody comes together and says hashtag time's up, or when you talk about the Me Too movement, and you see how it sort of brought the globe together, and it brought young people all over the world, different races, different colors, different religions, together on social media talking about, basically time's up to me is, we're not going to stay silent anymore. Whatever it is, whichever country it is, whatever the problem is, you're not going to be able to tell someone to, to not speak up against something that's happening to them. Whether that's not the lack of education or not having the rights to be able to live life the way you want, whether it's being violated sexually, emotionally, physically, however, time's up. You're not going to be able to silence our voices anymore because we stand by each other. And that is such a powerful thing to have happened. And that's happened with this generation, which is wonderful.
So kids shouldn't feel despondent about it when they read the gender pay gap has been there, it's here to stay. Should they feel despondent, or should they feel
I mean, if you want to feel
now?
despondent, then we should have felt despondent for the last thousands of years.
Right.
Because that was our normal. Yeah. Now at least we've come to a point where we're saying that's not going to be normal. We are not okay with it being normal. We're going to stand up for our rights. And you actually have brothers in arms who stand next to you and say, yes, we stand up for this girl, or we stand up for this guy, and what they're saying is right. And that never happened before. It's such a powerful time.
Absolutely. You know, you described it as a global movement.
Yeah.
I've also heard you talk about the need for more global citizens.
Yes.
Which I love to hear personally, because I'm a poster child of a global citizen. But isn't that the problem? Doesn't it mean that if you're a citizen of the globe, you're a citizen of nowhere?
I don't think so. I think your roots define who you are. You can never, I mean, you can if you decide to, but you can never erase where you came from or where you were born. I'm proudly Indian. Wherever I go, I am as desi as it can get. But that doesn't necessarily, thank you, especially because my achar travels with me wherever in the world I go. But I'm as desi as it gets, but that doesn't mean I'm not concerned or aware about what's happening in the world. That doesn't mean that if I'm living in India or if I'm living in America, I won't be concerned about what's happening in Europe or what's happening in Sierra Leone or what's happening in Jordan. You know, I am a global citizen because the world matters to me. And when I talk about everyone becoming a global citizen, the privileged lot of us sitting in this room, educators, influencers, people who have the ability to have a roof on their heads, make decisions for ourselves. Everybody in the world today is trying to work really hard to make sure that their kids have a great future, that they can do the best that they can for their families. And I think a global citizen is someone who's aware of their privilege and understands that no matter where in the world I go, there will be someone who will be lesser off than you. So it makes it your responsibility.
Wonderful. So it doesn't take things away.
Not at all. It adds to you.
It adds to
Yeah, it absolutely adds to you.
So you don't think people question authenticity if you're more than one, you say I belong to more than one place. I get called a coconut, for example, like brown from the outside, white on the inside. Have you heard that?
Now I have.
But don't laugh. See, they're laughing.
No, I think that's terrible. That's a terrible stereotype.
Yeah.
What's wrong with people?
That's right.
I mean, we have South Asians who've lived in America and the UK for eons.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were brought there in ships, but we stayed and we did a lot.
I love your positive definition. You know, you are, I've seen you be very multicultural, at least bicultural.
Yes.
I've watched clips of you you're on the Set Mayor show, Stephen Colbert show.
Yeah.
quite a few others, and now, of course, you're on the Lutfi Siddiqui show.
I'm on the Lutfi Siddiqui show. I am.
But I noticed that, you know, there you walk on stage.